Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Battle Royale by Koushun Takami. Battle Royale by Koushun Takami follows a class of junior high school students as they are taken to an island where, as part of an authoritarian Japanese government, they are forced to kill one another until there is only one survivor. So, before I get going with this review, just a quick disclaimer, if you will. Battle Royale and the Hunger Games are often compared to one another whenever I've seen book reviews. So, Battle Royale and the Hunger Games, I will kind of be comparing the two at various different points in this review. But yeah, just to make it absolutely clear, I love the Hunger Games and I love this book. So what to say about this book that hasn't already been said? There's so many reviews about this book, and my review is probably no different from the rest. But yeah, I freaking loved this book, you guys. This was absolutely terrifying and thrilling and incredibly graphic and disturbing. Oh my goodness, but I loved it. I loved just how horrific this book was, and just it really got under your skin at certain points in the novel. So yeah, just to start off with some positives about this book. Like I've already said, I loved it. I really loved the premise as well. You know, these students, they're on a bus. They really don't know what's going on. I think at the start of the novel, they think they're going on some sort of field trip. But then, yeah, they're all knocked out with some sort of sleeping gas. They wake up, they're on this mysterious island. They're informed that they're going to play this game, and they gotta fight each other to the death, and there can only be one survivor. And yes, that sounds like the Hunger Games, I know, but this book was written way before the Hunger Games. So along with that basic premise, I also like the whole idea of this authoritarian Japanese government, which was really chilling. And very much like the Hunger Games, it has a very similar concept that this Japanese government, because of the sins of the past, where people were rioting and rebelling and whatnot, the Japanese government, they created this game called The Program, and yeah, the children have to fight each other to the death. So yeah, there's a parallel right there with the Hunger Games. And I think what I loved so much about this novel was this whole idea of self-preservation. And you do, while you're reading this novel, at least I was anyway, you're kind of sitting there thinking, okay, how would I play this game? How would I try to live, or would I even want to live? Because there is instances where some of the students, they take the easy way out because they don't want to kill their classmates, so they commit suicide. So there's that option. You can just commit suicide and get out that way. And yeah, I mean, this whole idea of self-preservation, do you want to fight? Do you want to form with some allies and whatnot? And it's a very kill or be killed atmosphere. You gotta make a choice early in this story. You know, the characters have to make this choice early on. You either gotta kill or be killed. And I liked this attitude of the main character, Shua, is that his name? Yeah, Shua, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. The main character, Shua, he is very naive at the start of the novel, and his naivety is mostly because, you know, these are my classmates. I've grown up with these guys. They're not gonna try to kill me, and I'm not gonna try to kill them. We can rise above the system. Why do we have to fall in line with the system? So he's very naive in thinking that. And yeah, he gets the shock of his life once he realizes that his classmates, they are killing. That's part of the game. And the thing is, there's some students, they just go quickly into survival mode instantly, and they show absolutely no mercy to their fellow classmates. And I think that's what Koushun Takami does geniusly and brilliantly with this novel. He really gets into human psychology, if you will. He gets into the whole notion of self-preservation and this whole kill or be killed attitude. And yeah, just very human reactions that come out of these characters throughout the novel. Because when it does come to your own personal self-preservation, you're capable of doing things that you didn't think you were capable of doing. And that's definitely what the character of Shua experiences throughout this novel. He comes to realize he's capable of doing some truly horrendous things when it comes down to it. When he wants to live, he doesn't want to die. And another huge positive about this book, there's 42 people who play the game of Battle Royale. 42 characters. And that's a lot, you guys. But Koushun Takami, he does a really... He's really good at, you know, setting up who the major players are. And then even setting up some characters who you think might be major players, but then they die relatively early in the book. So yeah, you're really not quite sure. As you kind of get through the novel, it's like, okay, is this person a main character? Is this person a main character? And then yeah, some characters, they become larger characters in the second half of the novel. You know, so yeah, it's a really big mix match. You know, you're not quite sure who your leading characters are, who's gonna make it out. You're never quite sure who's gonna die next. And the thing is, every character, if I'm not mistaken, every single character, 42 characters, you guys, everybody does get a chapter at some point. Now, that character may die in said same chapter, but everybody does get a chapter at some point. You do get to know every individual character on some level. And yeah, it can get a little confusing and a little overwhelming at times, and then especially a lot of the characters have very similar names. Very similar, you guys. But yeah, don't let that confuse you or overwhelm you. I mean, it will, but kind of try to get past it and just really enjoy the novel for what it is, and try to latch on to the characters that you can kind of familiarize with. Now, just to move on to a few of my negatives. I did have a few negatives with this novel. For starters, this novel, it was written in 1999, you guys, and unfortunately, there is some sexism and some homophobia that goes on in this novel. So it can get a little uncomfortable with sexism and the homophobia. But like I said, it was written in 1999 when political correctness wasn't huge. And plus, I mean, it might be a cultural thing too, which I'm not going to blame this novel on. I mean, it was written by a Japanese author, so yeah, it could be easily a cultural thing as well, which I'm not going to fault it for. My second negative with this book, this novel is not supposed to be a comedy, right? This is supposed to be a tragedy and an action-packed story, but there were many occasions that I found myself laughing out loud, and I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be laughing out loud about teenagers killing other teenagers. And the thing is, I don't know if some of that had to do with maybe the translation. You know what I mean? Because this was originally written in Japanese and it was translated into English. So I don't know if some of the translation just didn't come across as it perhaps should have. Because yeah, like I said, there were many parts I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be laughing here. And yeah, just the way some of the characters would speak, some of the dialogue, it would get a little corny and cheesy. So once again, I don't know if that was the problem of the translation. And then my third complaint with this novel, I mean, I know it's all a bunch of teenagers, but it got really annoying with all of the angsty teenage drama. There was so much discussion about, oh, I love this person, and he loves that person, and she loves that person. Just so much talk about crushes and romance. And, I mean, just all the time. You guys, every single character had a crush on somebody, and it kind of just got a little overwhelming. And the thing is, I couldn't even remember half the time who had a crush on who. It was a little ridiculous. And for me, I just assumed this novel would be a little bit mature than that, if that makes any sort of sense. I just was expecting a lot more maturity with this novel, rather than the constant focus on, oh, I have a crush on you, and he has a crush on me, and this and that, because it often got a little childish and petty for me. And that's where a lot of the sexism comes in as well, especially from the women, because the teenage girls are constantly talking about boys and clothing and makeup and this and that, and it's like, you're in the Battle Royale game. You're about to fucking die. Why are you talking about crushes and clothing and stuff like that? Oh my god. Because I think what I was expecting, you know, since this is an authoritarian Japanese government, I was really expecting a lot of heavy focus about this government. You know, where are the characters talking about, oh, our government, it's so shitty and horrible? You know, none of the characters really dive deep into that. You know, they're mostly just all concerned about their personal relationships with one another, and I wanted more focus on the government in this game, and you know, these characters really wanted to take a stand and make a difference, you know. And yeah, there's only a couple characters that do that, you know, literally only a couple characters that do that, so it's kind of frustrating. So to end this review, just for the sake of comparing Battle Royale to the Hunger Games really quickly, they have absolutely very similar concepts and premises, but I think they both excel at different things. Because what I think Battle Royale excels at is definitely the psychology of playing this gruesome, terrible, despicable game. Whereas with the Hunger Games, I think the Hunger Games excels at the politics and the government side of things, which, like I just mentioned, I think Battle Royale was lacking. So overall, you guys, I freaking loved Battle Royale. I'm so glad I finally read it. Just, seriously, this story, just brutal and graphic, but something real and honest about it at the same time. And I cannot repeat enough, you guys, I love just how deep the psychology gets within this book, you know, with self-preservation and whatnot, and yeah, the whole kill or be killed attitude. This book is not meant to be pleasant by any means. You're definitely meant to, you know, be a witness to this, and it's supposed to be horrible and thought-provoking all at the same time. So guys, that's it for this review. In the comments below, have you guys read Battle Royale? What did you think of it? Or do you plan on reading it sometime in the future? I definitely highly recommend it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.